You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, you're never gonna. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, no, no. You're lucky if I stick around. Maybe foolish, but I ain't a clown. No, no, no. You're never gonna keep me down. You're never gonna keep me down. No, 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 no.
A very good morning and a very warm welcome to the second day of action here at Les 5 Étoiles de Pau in the south of France, in touching distance of the Pyrenees Mountains. An area synonymous with the horse, including racing with the famous racecourse and training facility. But here at Les 5 Étoiles de Pau, it's all about the five-star eventing and the four-star single carriage driving, the pinnacle of these respective sports. Well, I'm Nick Wood and I'll be bringing you all the action over the 4 days here at Les 5 Étoiles de Pau of the carriage driving and the eventing. Well, we started off yesterday afternoon with the five-star eventing for the 2 phases of dressage, and we'll be continuing with a full day of dressage, 2 sessions this morning and 2 sessions this afternoon. Well, one of the unique areas of Pau is the carriage driving and the five-star eventing, and carriage driving, single carriage driving, will be very much to the fore here next year when we host the World Championships, and this year a significant increase in the number of competitors in the four-star single carriage driving. Well, you're seeing some pictures there of the carriage driving dressage as it happens. We will be shortly getting underway with the first horse forwards in the five-star eventing, the first horse forward for the first morning session of dressage, and that will be Jim's pal and Michael Owen, the Cheshire-based combination, Michael Owen and Jim's pal. Well, it was our overnight leader Ascona M and Tim Price who led the way after the 14 horses who came forwards yesterday afternoon on a score of 28.1, and you'll be able to see that now on your screens. Alexander Bragg and Zagreb for Great Britain on 28.8. Tom McEwen and Figaro van Hettenbroek 31.9. Gemma Tattersall and Chile Knight, the first of Gemma's horses, score 32.7 in fourth. Shane Rose and Virgil won a score of 33. Anna Boiteau and Quadrian 33.2 their score. Marcel Totti and Glenn Fly for Brazil on 34.3. And Sam Aykroyd and Woden for Great Britain on 34.6. Then in 9th place, Ludwig Svennesol on the young mare Solonette scored 35.6. Regis Prudent for France 35.7. Felicity Collins in 11th place for Great Britain 37.8. In 12th, Elmar Lech for Germany 38.2 with Rough Diamond. Izzy Taylor on Call Me Maggie May, who were in 11th place here last year, 39.4. And Sarah Way on the wonderful little Dasset Cooley Done 42.2, a combination who I know are really looking forward, as we all are, to that cross country. Well, those 2 phases, those 2 sessions of dressage this morning and the 2 sessions of dressage this afternoon, 7 horse and rider combinations in each of those sessions, and that due to get underway at 10 p.m. in just a few minutes' time. Well, this is the list for today's running. Start list: dressage 2, Michael Owen and Jim's pal, followed by Charlotte East and King Albert, also for Great Britain, then Holly Jackson, More Inspiration. Felix Vaughan, the former racehorse Archie Rocks, Sarah Bullimore and Compierre for Great Britain, Kirsty Johnson for Great Britain, Remy Pilot for France, and Ludwig Svennesdahl on his second horse for Sweden. Then we move to Isabel English for Australia, Ross Cantor, the world champion, on Zenshira, Kevin McNabb for Australia, Virginia Howe for Great Britain, Andreas Stabowski for Germany, Ellie Jane Costello from Aberdeen in Scotland, Great Britain, Benjamin Massey for France, and James Avery for New Zealand, the second of the New Zealand riders. Then Jack Pinkney for Great Britain, Nikolai Oldinger with Newell for Germany, Louise Harwood for Great Britain, Chris Burton for Australia, Gonzalo Glasgow Button with Siver Ortiz, Spain, Mathieu Lemoine for France, Facility Collins for France, and Tom McEwen on his second horse for Great Britain. And then the final 4 to come forwards will be Tim Price with Wesco, Regis Prudhomme with Terastro, Gemma Tattersall on her second horse for Great Britain, and Ludwig Svennerstall for Sweden on his third and final horse will be the final combination to come forwards into the main arena here at Pau. So our first horse now in the arena, and it is Jim's Pal, the Irish sports horse, owned by Ashley Dean and ridden by Michael Owen. The first combination to come forwards to negotiate the FEI 5-star Dressage Test B. There are 25 marked movements in this Dressage test, all with a possible 10 marks. And then we have a final overall impression of athlete and horse mark, and that will have a coefficient of 2, so that will be doubled up. And there are a total of 270 marks available to our competitors. So Michael Owen on his way on this Super Irish Sport horse. Mentioned just a little earlier that Michael Owen is based at Kelsall Hill. Great new facility at Kelsall Hill with increasing facilities all the time. That new indoor arena due to come on at Kelsall Hill next year, and so popular with a number of the top riders, and Michael Owen been based at Kelsall Hill for a number of years now. Well, Michael warmed this horse up, Jim's Pal, with a podium finish in the Open Intermediate at Kelsall Hill at the end of September. And no stranger at all to the top level of eventing. Michael Owen, top 10 finishers on 2 occasions with Braidley's Law at Burley. Well, the marks starting to come in. You can see there, shoulder in right, 6.5, 7 and 7. And you'll be able to see in your screen on the bottom right-hand corner a mark as it stands at this point in the test for this particular rider. And that score of 31.7 will denote that at the moment Jim's Pal and Michael Owen are trending in 3rd place. They're trending in 3rd place compared to the other riders who have gone before them and completed their dressage test. Well, I'm delighted that Gemma Tattersall has joined us here in the commentary box, and she will be live shortly. So the extended walk for Michael Owen, 7, 8 and 7. Well, Jim's Pal looking very relaxed as he came forwards into that walk with Michael Owen in the plate. Well, as mentioned, very delighted to be joined by Gemma Tattersall. A very good morning, Gemma.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well indeed, yes. Yeah.
Good.
We'll talk in a little while about your 2 very exciting horses here.
Yeah.
Amazing prospects. You've had wonderful success with them already this year. But we'll just talk a little bit, if we may, to start with about Jim's Pal and Michael Owen. Yeah. The combination from Cheshire, who are almost halfway through their test now.
Yeah, he looks to be doing a very relaxed, happy test here. He just missed the first flying change, was late behind, and the same with the second one. But the horse actually looks very relaxed and happy, and looks like he's having a nice time in the sunshine.
Yes,
nice half pass there, just preparing for this 3rd flying change. And again, the same thing. The horse was obviously not quite established in the changes yet. It was just a little bit late behind. And unfortunately, the judges can't really give any more than a 4. I had the same thing last year with one of mine, and it's so costly.
Yeah, and we can see that that trending position has gone down to 7 now. As Gemma said, very costly.
Fortunately, these mistakes cost us dearly. It really does pay to do a clear round test, if that makes sense. You don't always have to have the most flashy dressage horse in the world, but actually riding a clear round test counts for a lot there. He got it better there, clean change. Hopefully he'll get a nice score from the judges for that one. He's just coming round to the final centre line, the final halt. Just fell into the hold a little bit there and lost his balance, therefore sort of stepped back. So yeah, the final halt won't be a great score, but the flying change, he managed to get a couple of 7s, so they're there. He's just got to be able to get them in the test. The horse looked very relaxed and happy, and he looks pleased with him. He's given him a good pat.
Yeah, Michael does look pleased, and as you say, Gemma, look very relaxed from the start. A lot for Michael to be pleased about there on the Irish sport horse, Jim's Pal. Well, we will just wait for the final marks to come in. Great slow-mo pictures, as always, of our riders. Well, these percentage scores in now. H, 64.26, C, 65.74%, B, 67.59, average 65.86, total of 34.1. So just come up a place to 7th from that final trending position that we showed on we saw on the screen when Michael Owen was just approaching the end of his test. So into 7th place for Jim's Pal and Michael Owen. Plenty for this combination to be pleased about. As mentioned, no stranger to the 4-star, now 5-star level. 2 top 10 finishes for Braidley's Law at Burghley during the last couple of years. Well, just to confirm our ground jury here for Les 5 Étoiles de Pau, the 5-star eventing here in the southwest of France. The president of the ground jury for Austria, Katrina Ekninger-Nili. For Austria, Tim Downs for Great Britain, and Carrière and Nathalie Carrière for France. So the next horse will shortly be in the arena, in fact, coming in. In fact, we are talking now a little bit about the carriage driving which is going on, the dressage element of the carriage driving, the 3 phases as we have in eventing, and marked very much on the same basis as the eventing. And we were seeing earlier the rein back. We see the rein back in the eventing. Amazing how these carriage horses adapt to these kind of movements with leading that carriage. And 48 competitors for the carriage driving, the single carriage driving here in 2019 in readiness for that 2020 World Championships. So it is Charlotte East and King Albert for Great Britain who are now down the centre line. The chestnut by Mayhill, owned by Charlotte East, King Albert, Charlotte East. So
this horse here is actually out of the same mare as Chilly Knight.
It is.
And we still have the mare, and she's got a foal at foot currently, which is full sister to Chilly Knight. So she's had 8 foals in total, and they've all so far turned into something good. And clearly she's got 2 at 5-star, which is pretty amazing. This boy is actually 17 years old, I believe. Is that right? Correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So he's an old boy, and he's Charlotte and him are working out a first 5-star together, which is fantastic for Charlotte to be competing at this level. She's doing a really good job here. I don't think he's the easiest on the flat, but she's doing a great job sitting up, riding for every movement.
A combination who had a top 5 finish in the Advanced Festival of British Eventing at Gatcombe in August. And also earlier in the season, top 20 in the Advanced at Chatsworth. Well, very talented young rider. Charlotte is part of the bronze medal winning junior team in 2015. This her first 5-star, as Gemma was saying. And when I knew you were coming in to be our first guest this morning, Gemma, I knew that Charlotte was in second. I thought this would be perfect for you to talk about, as you say, the mares.
The mare's a superstar, really, bless her. I rode her here at Po myself. You know, had her at 5-star. She actually won the under-25 national championship at Bramham. Mary King bred her and produced her. And she actually had King Albert as a 3-year-old. And then she has had a few embryo transfers. So Chili Knight is actually an embryo transfer, so she was still competing when she had him. And then she's, you know, she's been having foals naturally for the last 4 years. So yeah, fantastic mare, and just shows that, you know, you can have a top-class mare competing at the highest level, still producing super young stock for the future.
Yeah, and you are part of an organisation that is very much to the fore in producing horses, breeding and producing horses for the,
absolutely.
and of course very much at the forefront of that, Chris Stone.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris and Lisa Stone own Chili Morning, and you know, a few of my top mares that I ride, including Jalapeno that is here, and you know, we're trying to breed future stars, and thinking of the future all the time.
Yes, yes. Whatever the sport, whatever the industry or business, you have to be thinking ahead all the time, looking to the future.
Yeah. And Charlotte here, she's doing a great job. You can see that he's not easy. You know, he lacks a little bit of suppleness in his work, and he obviously struggles a little bit with his flying changes. But although she got a really good change there, but just did lose a little bit of straightness. He just lacks a little bit of suppleness in these half passes. But Charlotte's doing a really good job and trying to ride for every movement. And you can just see there he struggles with it, and he's very late behind and a bit against the hand. I think when it gets to this level, you know, her first time at this level, she's got to come here and she's got to aim to complete with a you know, healthy horse and healthy rider and a smiley face. And she's got to just you know, enjoy the experience. The sun's shining, she's at her first 5-star, and she's got to just keep riding for every movement, every jump. You know, and there she managed to get a clean flying change, although there was a little bit of tension. He's obviously better from left to right. Here, coming down her final centre line.
Yeah, enjoy the experience, learn from it.
Yeah, absolutely. King Albert's having a nice look around. Cheeky.
Yeah. Here we are, saying to Charlotte, here we are, at our first 5-star, and having a good look around. So much for these horses to take in, and obviously for the riders, but so much for these horses to take in these famous arenas.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Charlotte with a 17-year-old horse, and I was here yesterday with the youngest horse in the field, Chili Knight. He's only 9 years old, and I was incredibly proud of his performance yesterday. He made one mistake in the walk, but apart from that, he did a lovely settled test and managed to concentrate throughout the whole test. You know, there's a lot going on for a young horse to take in, so I was so proud of him.
Yeah, a really strong test yesterday afternoon, and as you say, a young horse, a horse that was third in the 8- and 9-year-old at Blenheim at the 4-star level just a few weeks ago. Yeah. What a preparation for coming here. Yeah,
he's just such a fun horse to ride. He's I always call him Mr. Yes Man. He never says no. He always wants to try his best.
Well, those average percentage scores of 61.73. Resulting in 61.73 for Charlotte East and King Albert, giving them a resultant score of 38.3 and slotting them into 14th place as it stands at the moment. Wonderful slow-mo shots once again. And if we look at Jalapeno, if we may, who's coming in later this afternoon, relatively new ride for you.
Yeah.
Won the final leg of the ERM at
Yeah.
Lagny-en-Paris here
Yeah.
in France a little earlier, well, just a few weeks ago again. I mean, what an maybe this year was a little frustrating for you at the start, but
Yeah,
it's finished an amazing start.
Yeah, we started really well, and we had a couple of fantastic runs at... Keep going.
Well, apologies to Gemma, just to reference, if I may, once again, our ground jury members, the president of the ground jury for Austria, Katrina Agnier-Nili, for France, Nathalie Carrière, and at B, Tim Downs for Great Britain. Those are our ground jury members, and those the positions at which they are placed within the dressage arena. And it is, for those of you who are new to eventing, we're delighted that you are with us wherever you are in the world, and it is the ground jury members who are here over the 4 days of competition, overseeing the competition, who are allocating these marks for the dressage. My apologies there, Gemma.
No problem.
My apologies, you were
ground
saying.
jury are very important.
Extremely. Extremely.
No, we started really well with a couple of good results at the beginning at Chatsworth and second at Bramham. Very, very happy with that. So then we put the pressure on by going to Aachen and made a bit of a mistake. And then another mistake at Mill Street cross country, which is frustrating. And then we've gone home and done our homework, and we came out at Linear, you know, fighting, and had a fantastic win there. So very, very happy with that, and hopefully we can take that forward to a good result here.
Yeah, and we very much hope that. You are knocking on the door of your 5-star win. There is no doubt about that.
We're certainly going to be giving it a go.
About that. Yeah. Well, we now see Holly Jacks for Canada with more inspiration, and Holly Jacks and more inspiration are the sole representatives from the continent of North America, but very able representation from that continent.
This horse is a beautiful looking horse. It's got a lovely head and neck, very pretty. She just looks a little bit like she's struggling to keep him up in front of her leg. But luckily he makes a lovely picture, and she's smiling away and enjoying herself. So is the horse.
Yeah, looks happy, very happy.
You can just see there her nudging away at him with her leg. Just looks like he's just a little bit behind her. Sometimes when horses go in an atmosphere like this, sometimes they go really goey and tense and want to take off with you, and sometimes they go the other way and actually drop behind you and become shy. I know that Laura Collett's London can be that way, and my Santiago Bay can be that way. Arctic Soul is completely the other way, and it's just finding out what makes horses tick. Got a lovely walk there. You can see whether the horse is very relaxed and really over tracking. You can see there as he's walking across how much he's over tracking, taking the bit and the rein forward with a very smiley face.
And a good walk is very impressive in dressage, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It really
Hopefully
is.
she'll be rewarded for that. Unfortunately, he did just sort of lift his head there at the end, which might put them off giving him a really big mark. But you can see there, it's really tracking up and very correct in his outline.
Well, Holly Jacks, no stranger to the top level of eventing, now the 5-star. And once again, for anyone joining us who's not too au fait with the sport of eventing, once again, we're delighted that you're with us. All the star levels of eventing notched up one level this year by the FEI. 4-star, now 5-star, as is the 5-star here at Pau. And no stranger to the 5-star level, Holly Jacks completed her first 5-star at Kentucky in 2017, and then competed again in Kentucky last year.
Just went before her there in the flying change and sort of jumped through the flying change, and therefore was ran late behind. a clean change, but a little bit cheeky, little sort of almost a little buck there, so it will be croup high, so won't get a really high mark. And again, he's obviously a little bit cheeky in his flying changes and just jumps through them a little bit. And again, he did the same there, therefore he ran late behind. And like I said, with the other horse, the judges can't really give higher than a 4 because it's an incorrect change.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about the different characters of your horses, and we were talking about it yesterday. It is one of the hugely endearing, of course, parts of everything that we do with horses.
Yes, absolutely. If any horse sport, it's being a good horseman, understanding how you can get the best out of each character.
Absolutely.
Again, there she actually got a clean change. He just bounced his way through it. He's obviously got a bit of a character, this horse. He makes you smile.
He certainly does. He's making me smile here. Yeah. Down the centre line.
Oh, just slightly tripped on his head there. But big smiles from the rider. And the horse looks happy as Larry. Look at him.
What a lovely finish for Holly Jacks, smiling away on More Inspiration, owned by Bruce Smither and Holly Jacks herself. So we wait for the mocks to come up, and you're increasingly involved in show jumping, aren't you?
I am, yes. Yeah, we were actually in Liège in Belgium last week at the International 1 and 2 star show and Young Horse show. It was really fun, but I must say better than being at Lyon where it rained all week. It was dry and we were indoors, so it was fantastic.
Yes.
Got two show jumpers, both really fun. An 8-year-old that's competing sort of at 130 level, and an amazing 6-year-old that's just about to start competing in the young horse classes. So yeah, it's really fun.
Really good,
enjoying
yeah.
it.
And you think you'll progress further into show jumping? Is that a plan?
Yeah, my heart lies in eventing very much, but I really enjoy the show jumping, and I just think, why not?
Absolutely.
You know, we only live once, and it's fun to do the things that we all enjoy, and I quite like beating the jumpers at their own game. It's good fun, and I genuinely really enjoy it, and I've bred a couple of jumpers, one of which is 4-year-old, and will come out next year and do some young horse classes. So I'm really excited about him, and yeah.
Yeah, very exciting for the future and the present. So those ground jury scores at H 65%, at C 64.81%, at B 62.22%, average 64.01%. Well, now our representative for Sweden, and this is Felix Vogt with the former racehorse Archie Rocks, therefore very much a thoroughbred. And it's interesting to see the real mix now, isn't it, in eventing at all levels of the thoroughbred that was historically the eventing horse and the warm bloods. Whether it's Selfron, say, Dutch warm bloods, Belgian warm bloods. Yeah,
there's a real mixture now. Obviously, it's still important to have that, you know, real thoroughbred blood in breeding and in your